All right, we are going to talk about mule deer, of course, but more importantly, how to put a mule deer tag in your pocket every single year. So each year, I love helping people put mule deer tags in their pocket, just something I like to give back some information. And luckily, all this information I'm talking about right now would totally not be possible. This is a straight plug right now, but it's a serious plug without the use and power of Insider. So everything in Insider, you can find all this information on, which is what makes Insider so great. It's going to save you a ton of time in researching and find these hidden gem opportunities. So I keep hearing all the time, I might jump on a little soapbox here, that tags are becoming harder and harder to get. Sure, that might be the case for some of the units that take a ton of points to, but everyone, once again, and I do get poked fun at for this strategy, knows my strategy is to hunt now, not later. I don't want to sit on the fence and watch other people hunt and chase their dreams. I want to go chase my dreams as well, which is why I don't carry a lot of points in most Western states for mule deer. I turn and burn as quick as I can because I want to hunt more. So the reason I say that is I pick up tags that a lot of people either overlook or consider quote unquote not a great unit. So that's going to be a lot of these, over-the-counter states or over-the-counter units, or even sometimes weapon choices is going to enable you to pick up more mule deer tags every single year. If you're just a rifle guy, like I've pretty much transitioned myself to just a rifle guy, I am leaving opportunities out there by not picking up a bow or not pick up a muzzleloader, which is why I do look at picking up some muzzleloader tags now as well in combination of rifle. But if I wanted to expand even more and have a greater opportunity to pick up tags, I need to look at archery. So if you want to be a really efficient mule deer hunter and hunt every single year, the first tip is literally look at your weapon choice. Can you bow hunt mule deer? Can you muzzleloader hunt mule deer? Can you rifle hunt mule deer? Those are all going to be strategies that'll help you with running through here. I'm going to explain like a state-by-state breakdown of how to pick up a mule deer tag this year. All right, I'm going to start off with Arizona. So this year, Arizona changed up a bunch of their system in regards to the over-the-counter hunts. So now those tags went for sale December 1st. I have it written down here. There's 2,890 non-permit over-the-counter deer tags. That's pretty much sold out right away. And so now it's becoming more difficult. You can't use Arizona as a fallback to pick up an OTC mule deer tag. So for 2023, those tags are all sold out. So now you have to wait till next year. But there are still options in Arizona. And again, people always assume it's the best of the best units. It's the strip, it's the kaibab. Those are the only two units from mule deer. But there's a lot of other opportunities out there. So if you're using Insider, using filtering 2.0, you can start manipulating those filters to find hunts that are available. For example, I can go Arizona non-resident, 0 points, and I can jump down here. There is actually, I've written down, so I want to make sure I get this right, 9 units with 30% odds or above as a non-resident 0 points. You can draw units in Arizona, and they're going to be limited for both residents and non-residents, but there is opportunity to pick up tag right now in Arizona once that draw becomes available to go hunting. And it gets even sweeter if you have your loyalty point and your hunter ed point in Arizona, because then you're always going to start with 2. So then you're going to have 34 units at 30% or above that you could pick up right now every single year by having that loyalty point and the hunter ed point. You can pick up a tag every year in Arizona if you want. Yes, it's not going to be a highly coveted tag, but if you can hunt that unit, this is going to be the same trend to this whole thing. If you can hunt those units multiple years, you will learn about hunting mule deer in that unit. You will learn about hunting mule deer in that terrain. You will learn everything there is to know about that unit, and then become more successful, and then possibly could be a giant deer or whatever meets your criteria of a trophy class deer in said unit. All right, next state, Colorado. So Colorado, again, is one of those states where people think you need a ton of points for. I think I'm the poster child for that because I'm a non-resident to Colorado. And I'm able to pick up a tag every single year in Colorado, and I can go hunting. Now I've done archery hunts in Colorado, I've done muzzleloader hunts, I've done second rifle, and I've done third rifle. All those hunts I've been on deer. They've all been phenomenal. Some of the biggest deer of my life came from units that people overlook. Because again, it comes down to how hard are you willing to work at it, and how hard are you willing to put the research time in right now to pick up these tags, and then boots on the ground scouting, as well as almost more importantly, e-scouting. So you can pick up tags in Colorado every single year as a non-resident. Again, here's some numbers for you guys. Right now in Colorado, 21 units you could draw 100% for archery. 25 units you could draw 100% muzzleloader. I'm talking about 0-point units. 23 units that are 100% for second rifle, 19 units 100% for third, and 9 units 100% for fourth rifle. So there is options there. Yes, those options might be difficult. You might have a lot of OTC elk hunters in there, and not to bash on elk, because everyone knows I'm a mule deer guy, but you have more people OTC elk hunting, that's going to put competition on the deer, and they might move the deer numbers around because you're all hunting the same unit together. Which is why, for a strategy like Colorado, you've always heard me say that when you're jumping into filters, jumping in unit profile, I like to sometimes jump over and look at the elk in that unit, see what over-the-counter seasons are going on at that time that I might be hunting, and compare how many hunters are surveyed in that unit. Maybe I can look at a unit next door that has, the same draw odds, all the criteria that I'm looking for in a hunt, but has less surveyed OTC elk hunters. Yes, they can bounce around, and yes, Colorado is potentially changing some of their OTC stuff in the future here, but this is something you can definitely use to your advantage by researching how many elk hunters are possibly getting in the field when you're going to have a Colorado mule deer tag, for example. Also, another great thing in Colorado is they have their secondary draw, another great chance to pick up a tag. And it's, again, if you want to get scrappy and want to do your research, you can utilize the second draw to as well pick up a tag. And then again, in August, they have their Colorado leftover day, all those leftover tags. That's another opportunity to pick up a Colorado tag. Again, sure, these are going to be tags that some people have turned back in, but you're still hunting. You still pick up a mule deer tag. And then in addition to that, Colorado also has their reissued tag list. That list keeps populating throughout the season. That starts usually the first couple weeks of August, and that's another chance to pick up a tag. And if you want to do your due diligence, you don't have a mule deer tag yet, you can then start to look at that list and pick up a tag. A lot of times there are some really sweet tags that eventually they get turned in, some of those higher point tags even that went through the next person on the list, and eventually they get put on the reissued list, and you can pick up on those tags. So again, there is options in Colorado, and there is options for a great Colorado mule deer hunt. Another opportunity to pick up a tag every single year is going to be in the state of Idaho. So Idaho has their over-the-counter deer tags that go on sale December 1st. So for the 2023 season, those went on sale December 1st, 2022. Those have now sold out. Usually, lately, they've been selling out instantly, and everyone knows that fun process of trying to get an OTC deer tag. But there's other options. So starting mid-April, Idaho has their leftover tag process. So what's going to happen is on Tuesday, any person who's a non-resident who picked up a deer tag, they turn their tag in, that list will be available on a Tuesday. Those tags will be able to be purchased on a Thursday. That's normally at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So basically, you do the same process September 1st. You jump in the waiting queue. Once your number gets randomized, 10 a.m., if you're the lowest number, you can jump in there and pick up a tag. There might not be a lot of tags turned in yet, but usually my strategy I like to tell people is as some of these other draws happen, potentially people might draw their dream tag and might turn back on these Idaho tags. So that's going to happen once a month throughout the season. So April it'll happen, May, it'll happen June, July. Once August hits, I believe that's going to be their 5th leftover tag sale. Now those tags can be picked up as residents as their second tag. Non-residents could also pick up a second tag, and non-residents could also pick up their first tag. So now you get more competition once August comes to pick up a leftover tag. So as the season gets closer, you still have those opportunities to pick up a tag like right before even this general rifle season starts. So if you want to do your homework, do your due diligence, research those units on a Tuesday, jump into filtering 2.0, figure out all those list of units, start ranking which ones you might want to get during that leftover tag process. Then on that Thursday, you can pick up an Idaho tag. Also, another thing I think that a lot of people overlook in Idaho is there's actually a lot of controlled hunts that you can draw fairly easily. Idaho doesn't have a point system, makes it really great. You always have a chance. But, there's some numbers written down here, there is 6 archery controlled options with 100% draw odds, 2 muzzleloader units with 100% draw odds, and 4 rifle controlled options with 50% draw odds or better. So again, It's not an end-all, be-all when you miss out on over-the-counter, and let's say you just don't want to deal with the rifle-controlled stuff because you're like, well, those tags are really hard to get. There is options you can look at to just pick up a tag. Again, you're hunting mule deer, the greatest animal in the world. Might as well pick up a tag and go check it out. Next state, I want to jump into Montana. So Montana is definitely one of those states that has a plethora of hunting opportunities. It's a great state. Tags are getting to be a little more popular in that state. So right now, it's going to be kind of one of those every other year type things, or if you're lucky, you can probably get one every year. But at the 0 point level, you roughly have 54% odds to pick up a non-resident deer tag in the state of Montana. If you have 1 point, that's going to drop you down to like roughly 40% odds. It's just how the way they allocate. 75% of tags go to people with the most preference points and 25 without, and there's a lot of people with preference points, so it actually kind of makes it so 0 point has better odds than 1 point. It's kind of a weird phenomenon in Montana, but something to consider as well. So you have a chance every year, Montana, 54% is a decent chance to get a deer tag. And when you get that deer tag in Montana, you actually get the opportunity to hunt almost the entire state. So with the general deer tag, you can hunt 118 different hunt districts. It's a lot of areas you can go to. And that's where it comes in again. Once you get a tag, utilize filtering 2.0, utilize maps, try to hone in exactly where to hunt in Montana. The next state, if you're looking to pick up a mule deer tag every single year, I'm just going to touch on this very briefly because as of this time, we don't cover the state on Insider, but there is over-the-counter tags available in Nebraska. So that's a good option as well. The only caveat is there's not a lot of public land in a lot of those places, and those areas that do have public land might be a little tough to find some deer. But again, you can pick up a mule deer tag in Nebraska and go hunting every single year. Another interesting state, but it is a state you can pick up mule deer tags right now pretty much every single year, is Oregon. So I think Oregon is kind of one of those states that kind of gets overlooked because there's a lot of other heavy hitter states out there like Colorado, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, New Mexico, etc. But Oregon actually has some units that you can draw right now with 0 points. For example, there's 9 rifle units I could draw this year with 0 points at 100% odds. There's also 18 rifle units. If I just had 1 point, I could draw with 100% odds. Now keep in mind, I don't have the exact draw odds yet because this is still based on the last time you updated draw odds. So we don't have them updated based on the 22 draw odds yet, but that'll be coming soon. So these are percentages that could change, but I would assume there still should be some options in Oregon that you could draw every single year. State of Utah. State of Utah is another one of those where people assume you need a ton of points for, especially when it comes to some of those limited entry type mule deer hunts. You do need a lot of points for those. I have almost, creeping up on the mid-teens of points, and I don't really have a chance to draw those. But there's a lot of general hunts you can draw with relatively no points to very few points. So this is where having that multi-state strategy does come into play. Maybe Utah's not in your cards, but if you do have 1 or 2 points, it's instantly going to make yourself, in the door to try to draw a tag. But some numbers right here. If I want to hunt Utah this year, there's 14 archery units with 70% odds or better. 12 muzzy hunts, 70% odds or better. And there's 10 rifle hunts with 70% odds or better. So again, the same theme. There's opportunity. Washington, let's touch this briefly. Washington does have a lot of general tag opportunities. Right now, there's 72 units I can hunt with the general tag. So I can pick up a tag, go hunt Washington. Yes, it's going to be far away for a lot of people, but I can pick up a tag and I can hunt Washington for mule deer. So if you have an opportunity to fill something in your schedule, maybe you can look at one of these states that you might not ever really consider going, but you don't have points other places, and you want to jump over and try a new state, which is something I'm very interested in because I just want to try to take a mule deer in every western state. So Washington is a good example. It might be a hard hunt, but you're still going to be hunting deer, and people do find success every single year in Washington. The last state I'll touch on really quickly to try to put a tag in your pocket this year, and again, this is one of those states that, yes, if you do have some points, it's going to benefit you on some of those classic areas that everyone is trying to chase, in western Wyoming. But if you don't have any points, there are still options. So there's 6 regions in Wyoming with 50% draw odds or better at 0 points. So yeah, the only other caveat to all this is there is some states where I carry a lot of points on and I will not burn those points. Arizona is one of those, for example. I might not utilize burning my points in Arizona for one of those lesser units because I'm able to, fill my hunt schedule with other states. So there is, again, like I said, states that I will carry a lot of points for, but there's a lot of other states that I will turn and burn constantly because I just want to get out there and hunt. And one of the best ways to do this right now is with our new feature hunt planner. So what you can do is I can basically take all these states and a bunch of different units I'm looking at, and I could go in Hunt Planner and create 2023 mule deer plan. And I can start adding units across various states into my Hunt Planner, start adding notes, figuring out which ones I want to draw this year. Maybe I only have an opportunity to go on one Western hunt a year. I want to find out what's going to be the best one. Well, I can jump in and do, here's my Colorado unit, here's my Idaho one I want to try to draw, my Montana one, New Mexico, all these different units I can add into Hunt Planner at the season level. Then I can start ranking them on my priority. I can add all the notes to it. I can basically dive in and create my own personalized plan. And that plan will carry with me to the next year. So no longer do I have to have all these stupid little notes that I have sitting around everywhere. I can have them all in one central place. And then the great thing too, whatever sort of filter settings I used to narrow down, maybe I was adjusting the public land with my draw percentage, with some harvest success and a trophy potential to land on a more finite number of units. Now I can jump back and grab that same filter setting in Filtering 2.0 to start researching again. So Hunt Planner is probably one of my favorite tools on Insider right now, and enables me to take basically the entire West and figure out where I want to hunt mule deer every single year with minimum points. So I highly suggest jump in there on your Insider account, start playing with all these tools, draw odds, to Filtering 2.0, to our application strategy articles. And I also want to point out too that every time one of these opportunities comes up in the West or states are going to make changes, I try my best to personally write an article, or I'll have someone else on the team write an article because I want to help people out. I'm not going to hold this information back. I'm going to give it to you guys because I want to see everyone out there in the field hunting, especially hunting mule deer. Yeah, you can be an elk guy. Maybe I'd push you that way so I can draw more mule deer tags, but I want people out there enjoying the same things I enjoy, which is hunting mule deer, because it's the funnest hunt in the world. So lastly, if you're not an insider, we say this a lot, but there's no better time than now to join. And to help you out, sign up for Insider using promo code Brady. We're going to get you 50 points to the goHUNT Gear Shop. So that's $50 you can put in your pocket right now. That then could be used later on in any sort of purchase of gear. And again, you're going to get access to goHUNT maps. So you're going to be able to use all these features I talked about. Plus you can start diving into goHUNT maps and do your research, figure out where you want to go, figure out how that public land lies in that unit to make your best plan to a mule deer tag in your pocket this year. So if you have any questions, I know it went through a lot, but hopefully this will give you enough information to start diving into our tools, start playing around with it, because this is the same strategy that I use every single year. Like I said, the strategy I talk about is my personal strategy, and it works for me. And I just like getting out and hunting mule deer. So I want to pick up these tags that I can hunt every single year and hunt multiple units and just learn more about mule deer. So best luck this fall.